Today, we're talking about my real internet marketing story, how I went from $0 to eight figures. People have been asking me, Vince, how did you do it? Tell us more about, your story. How did you actually start making money online? Well, that's why I'm making this video. I'm going to share with you guys my complete story, the real story on how I went from $0 to eight figures. So let's dive right into it. So as a kid, I actually, can remember, you know, um, driving in the car and seeing like kids at practice playing football, and I remember saying that's what I want to do, like at a very early age before I was even here. I think I'm like 7 or 8 years old, and what you're looking at here is a picture of me and Pop Warner. And when I got to play, it was just a passion of mine, and I loved the game. I wanted to run a football on Sundays, and I was a star athlete in high school, went on to play Division 1 football, and unfortunately my career was cut short. And I want to share with you guys a quick story about this. And typically, I usually just kind of like breeze over this part of my life because it's a pain point in my life because I know exactly why I didn't make it to the NFL. And the lie that I used to tell myself years ago before I became an entrepreneur, before I started working on my mindset, the lie that I told myself was that I got injured and the coach didn't like me and he didn't play me. But that was, not true. Okay, I was lying to myself, and a lot of us as human beings, we often lie to ourselves to protect ourselves, and we make excuses for ourselves. And the real reason I didn't make it to the NFL was because way back, back in high school, even before high school, I can remember not giving it my all in wind sprints. I can remember not giving it my all in the weight room. I can remember just slacking and doing certain things that ended up catching up to me. And life is a snowball, all right? You don't think that things that you do today affect things 10 years from now. Okay, I'm here to tell you that you're mistaken. So, me not making it to the next level was my doing, okay? Because I definitely was gifted. I definitely believe I had the tools to get there. But I didn't do the little things, and it caught up to me. And I realized that the very second I walked into the locker room in college, I realized that this is a different animal. These were guys that literally were living, eating, and breathing the next level. And that just wasn't my life. And I didn't make it. I didn't make it. And, I didn't actually start thinking about being an entrepreneur till my senior year when I realized I wasn't going to play at the next level. And I said, what the heck am I going to do with my life? Am I going to be one of these guys that goes home and like has nothing else to do? And we'll kind of get into that. Now, my online journey began in 2007. Okay, that's when I actually started to think about online marketing, and when I really was like, okay, this may be something that I want to do. And I was in the real estate industry out of college. So I fell into the real estate industry. I had like a small little mortgage company. And if you want the complete backstory of that whole industry, I'd suggest you actually going and grabbing a copy of my book, Internet Traffic and Leads. I kind of go in more of my real estate days. But I got into real estate, the market collapsed. I didn't make the necessary adjustments. So another lie I would tell myself back then was the mortgage industry collapsed. That's why I lost everything. But in the reality, everyone knew that that was a bubble, and there were people, because they understood and prepared for the bubble, made a lot of money. I was one of the individuals that chose to look the other way. Again, okay, I could make that excuse and say I lost everything and the market collapsed and that's why I lost everything, which a lot of people still to this day blame the economy and the recession of 2008 on their current situation. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, I lost everything, but I need to take ownership for this because, it's my doing. And when I say I lost everything, I had to short sell my home. I remember I had, from the mortgage days, I had this really nice car, this truck. It had TVs and crazy rims, and I was blowing all this money, stereo system, and I'm a young kid just blowing all this money. I remember I was leasing the car, and the good thing was the lease was up, and so I didn't like not make the payments or anything. I had to drive it back, and I couldn't even afford to get a new car, so I had to like give the car back, and but it was perfect timing. So I ended up short selling my house. I had no car, so I was like sharing a car with my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, and I had no money. I had no idea where my next paycheck was going to come from. I mean, literally, banks stopped lending, and I was like, I am going to be homeless. Literally, I really believed that I was going to be homeless. So one day I got a call from a broker friend, and this was when the economy was going down. And he's like, hey, dude, you can come back to the industry. There's these things called FHA loans, and they're funded by the government, and they're still going through. And mind you, banks were going out of business. And I'm like, dude, it's over. So I came back and I started like doing deals again with him. He kind of sucked me back in the real estate industry. And within the first week, I had submitted like 7 or 8 more deals. And I'm like, this is crazy. Nobody knows about these deals. They're getting approved like right away. And I was going to make a ton of money. So I get 7 deals in like 5 days that would pay out like commissions of over $50,000. I'm like, man, I am going to crush it. Everybody's leaving the industry. Nobody knows about these deals. And I was like so pumped. I was like Arnold Schwarzenegger, as you see here. I'm back. I'm back. I'm going to be able to maybe save my home. I'm going to be have a better car than I had before. I'm counting the ways I'm going to actually spend the money. And then I remember I was driving into work that day. And I know you're like, well, how are you driving into work? You didn't have a car. I was sharing a car with my girlfriend. I'm driving into work that day. And I had this feeling in my gut. I'm like, dude, this something's not right. Like, this is too easy. People are losing everything. Like, how, like, is this going to happen? Right? Like, something's not right. I like could feel it. And this was the day I was driving in that all of those deals were supposed to go through. Like, we were supposed to get the docs, send them out. A notary was going to go out and people were going to sign these deals. And I got to the office and I turned on my computer and it opened up. I opened up my email and the subject line literally said sorry. And like I knew what was about to happen. So the email says sorry. I open it up and it basically says sorry. We can't fund these deals. We've been basically told that we have to cease all funding. You need to let all those people know that you can't do these deals. Like my heart fell out of my chest, right? So now I don't have a car. My house is about to I'm sharing a car with my girl. Like, it's just the worst of the worst. I'm really gonna lose everything. Like, what the heck's gonna happen, right? So, I have to call all these people back, and I call them back one by one. It was probably like 8 deals. 5 or 6 were about to go that day. So I call all of them back, and then I have to call the other people that I have deals submitted with, because to tell them that those aren't gonna go through, that weren't supposed to get signed that day. So I call them back and they start going in on me. And they were like, I knew that you couldn't do it, because I'm like assuring them the whole time, yeah, these are special type of deals. They're government deals. They're going to go through. And I'm sending them the approvals. And they're thanking me. Nobody could get this done. You're going to save my house and my life. Thank you, Vince. And they're like, this is like the day before. They're like thanking me to like cursing me out. And there were racial slurs. I mean, it was really tough. But I faced it. I'm like, I'm going to call them all back, when I could have just sent them an email and said, hey, sorry, these aren't going through, right? So long story short, I called them all back, cursed at, called all kind of names, and I just felt like the worst person in the world. I'm like sitting there at my desk, just defeated. And I remember I packed up all my files and I started to walk out the door. I was gonna quit. I'm like, I can't take this anymore. I am done with real estate. I'm out of here. And I packed up all of my files, and I didn't even want to tell the broker friend who got me back in the industry that I was quitting, because I thought he'd try to like talk me into staying. So I just packed up my files, and this was me. I'm literally opening up the door to leave, and something stopped me at the door, and it said, do not leave this office until you have something else that you can go home to. Because at this time, I'm losing my house, and I got to tell my girlfriend, who, by the way, I'm like, she's going to leave me. I'm a loser. Why would she stay with me? I have nothing. I'm using borrowing her car. It's like just ridiculous, right? So, um, I go back on the computer and I'm like, I'm at least gonna go find another job so I can go back and tell her that I got something else. Now, mind you, the night before, I'm like, dancing around all excited. We're about to make 50 grand, blah, 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 blah. We're back. Things are good. People don't know about these deals. Like the day before. So, when I go home this day, she's expecting me to be like, oh, we're back. Everything's good. Not the case. So I go on Craigslist and, I start to look for a sales job, and I'm looking for this sales job, and I hit the sales button on Craigslist, because back then that's where I guess you went to look for a job. I couldn't tell you where people go today, because I haven't, you know, knock on wood, I haven't had to work for anyone else. So I go for a sales job, and I'm looking through and I'm scrolling down Craigslist, and this ad pops up, and it like stood out like a sore thumb, and the ad said make money on Google. That's what the ad said. Now, mind you, at this time, even though I had been in mortgage, I had done all these things, I could barely send an attachment on an email. I'm not kidding. I had people that would help me. And people to this day, friends of mine that worked with me in real estate, can't believe that I'm the guy people go to for marketing and lead generation, because they know how, computer illiterate I literally was. So, the ad led me to going to Google. And I'm like, well, Google may be something cool. And to me, it sounded better than flipping burgers, because I literally had contemplated, like, where am I going to go work? Because I got to, like, bring something home, right? So I click on the ad and I start going through it, and I like am pretty pumped up. And I remember I went home and I had to go tell my girlfriend, now my wife, that I was gonna make money online. So I click on the ad, and the ad seemed promising. It was this lady basically saying that she could do stuff, and I'm like, okay, I took the information and I went home. I packed up all my files, and that was the last time I ever thought about or looked into real estate. Now, mind you, again, as I just want to be sure that you understand this, I had zero internet marketing experience online. I could, like I said, barely send an attachment in an email, and all of a sudden I'm going to make money on Google. So the first thing my girlfriend, said to me, she's like, "Well, okay," because when I walked in, she's like, "Oh, how did it go?" She's all excited, and she could tell I was like not excited. And I'm like, "Well, those deals didn't go through, but I found something else." And she's like, "What?" And then I go like, I basically say I'm gonna make money on the internet, and then she goes, "Well, at least do some research, right?" And that's probably one of the reasons I think I married her, because the average person would be like, "You're crazy. You don't even know how to do anything online. Like, what are you doing? Like, you need to go find something else in real estate or, anything. I don't know." But, she was like, "Well, at least go do some research, right?" And she believed in me. So I researched everything and I started to research. So the first person that I Googled was the lady from the Craigslist ad. So the Make Money on Google ad that I saw on Craigslist, it was this lady and she was selling this ebook or offering this ebook that was basically saying make money on Google. And the ebook was enticing because I'm like, okay, this lady at this time I don't know anything about the internet. She's a bestseller. Like she has this book on making money on Google, and then I found out that she was literally just giving away this book, which probably she just wrote real quick, which was an ebook to people who would join her direct sales company. And at this time, I didn't know what direct sales was or anything like that, and I end up basically calling her and figuring it out some information about direct sales. I'm like, well, what's direct sales? I don't even know what direct sales is. So direct sales is like it's like basically high ticket, affiliate company. So basically, it was this company selling these products, and to get started in the company, you have to start off and invest like $2,000, and then you can sell their products, and you get like $1,000 for every sale you get. But then there's different levels. It starts off at like 2,000, and then like 8 grand, and then like 20 grand. So they go all the way up. So I joined this direct sales company. Oh, I didn't join the direct sales company, but I now am exposed to direct sales companies. And I'm like, okay, well, now I'm curious about what these are because I didn't know anything about making money online or any of this stuff, right? So I continue to search, but now my search shifts from making money on Google to searching direct sales companies. So I'm like, okay, well, this lady's making money, and she had showed me all these like videos and stuff of her making money. But for whatever reason, like I didn't like feel right about the lady. Like I just didn't like feel right about her. So I started googling her and I found some negative stuff, which by the way could have been anyone. But at that time, again, I don't know the internet. So I started searching direct sales companies, and this is where I stumbled onto the first online marketing guru that I found. And I'm like, okay, I'm searching company one, and then this person pops up. I search company two, and then this person pops up. So every direct sales company I searched for, this one particular guru's ads kept showing up. And he was in direct sales, and he was like walking across stage, getting these big checks, and everybody loved him. And I'm like, man, like this must be real. So in my head, I'm like, okay, well, the lady's ad said make money on Google, but she was just selling me in a direct sales company. And when I search Google, I don't see her. But when I search this guy, direct sales company, this guy comes up on Google. So it makes more sense for me to like look into what this guy's doing. And that's when I had my big aha moment. I started putting two and two together. I'm like, hold on one second. Here I am searching the internet for like trying to find a way to make money. And I see this lady pop up about making money on Craigslist. And I see this guy popping up everywhere and he's offering this opportunity. There's got to be other people like me that's sitting here that just lost everything and is trying to find a way to make money. What if I could learn how to do that? And that's like when I had my big aha moment. So all I had to do was figure out a way to master marketing. I'm like, if I just learn how to run ads like this person, and the lady had put the Google thing into my head, and now the direct sales thing was in my head, and I'm thinking this is how you make money online. It's direct sales and it's marketing. I didn't know anything else. I just think I have to be in direct sales and I have to learn how to do Google ads. So at the time, I knew there was only one person that I wanted to learn from, and that was the guru. That was the person that I saw everywhere that I went. And when I called him, just like the lady, he said, "Hey, it's 2 grand to join my direct sales company, but if you join my company, you invest 2 grand, I'll teach you all of my marketing strategies on Google." And I didn't have any money at the time. So what I did have, which was a blessing, was a lot of used equipment from my mortgage days in my garage. So I started turning Craigslist into making money. So yeah, I guess I was doing my first retail arbitrage because I started selling everything and to get cash. And I borrowed some money, and somehow I came up with the $2,000 because I believe that every person has a handful of opportunities to make it big. So a lot of times people always say what they can't do instead of figuring out ways to like actually do something. So I sold stuff. I didn't even think twice. I'm like, I see it. This person's clearly making money. It's possible. I asked myself the question, is this real? It was real. I said, I know that I can do this. What else do I have to lose? I'm already losing everything. And I believe that every person has a handful of opportunities to make it big. So I came up with the $2,000. And I think this is a big crucial point. Like a lot of you have opportunities, but you let the money stop you. And if you can't afford something, that's the very reason why you need to figure out a way to do it. Because that's part of being an entrepreneur. Because you're going to always have to figure out a way to get to the next step. I've found that people that struggle, they always let money be their excuse for not doing it. But if you want something bad enough, you'll do it. It's like if you were to go and need a heart today, for either yourself or someone that you love, and they said it's 10 grand and you don't have 10 grand, I bet you'd come up with a way to get that 10 grand. You have to have that kind of mindset as an entrepreneur. And so I came up with the $2,000 and I opened up the door and I went in, and it happened to be one of the best decisions of my life. So let's kind of break down why I actually joined this individual. So I had no interest actually in the direct sales opportunity. It was like some personal development thing. I didn't really care about that. I just was like, I guess I need that if I want to learn how to do the Google thing, because I guess I have to have something to sell. So it wasn't like I was like hand over fist excited about this direct sales thing. It was just something I thought I needed. I wanted to know how he ran ads on Google. So I was willing to invest anything because I saw him actually doing it. And I realized his marketing skill set was an invaluable resource I was looking for. Remember, I had just lost everything in real estate. The market collapsed and banks stopped lending. And I realized at that time that I wasn't an invaluable resource. I was just a resource. So I remembered I vowed at that moment to never be just a resource again. I want to be an invaluable resource. So what's the difference? When I was in real estate, I was a resource as long as people wanted a loan, but the bank stopped lending. They were the invaluable resource. I needed the bank in order to submit to finish the transaction. So I said, if I learn marketing, there's always going to be businesses. They're always going to need customers. If I can master the skill set, then I can make money for a long time. And I was willing to do whatever. If he would have told me it was 10 grand, I would have figured out a way with no money to come up with 10 grand to learn it, because I'd seen him do it. And at that time, that's all I knew. And I just trusted. You know, a lot of times people today, they don't trust their mentors. They're constantly questioning everything instead of saying, oh, is this person successful? Let me go all in and, give it 6 months to a year and just do everything this person says and see what happens. And that was me. I'm like, I'm going to be the student. I'm just going to sit back and learn. So $2,000 to master it. So I asked him, once I got in, I gave him the money, and at this time you had to like send them like the cashier's check in the mail, right? So I send it to him. I'm out of $2,000, and I get on the phone, and he like, tells me some basic stuff about Google AdWords, and I'm like, okay, cool. So you mean to tell me all I've got to do is bid on a keyword, like the ones I was bidding on, how to make money online, and I can have an ad pop up, and they only charge me when a person clicks it, so a million people could search, but if they don't click it, I don't get paid. I'm like, I'm gonna be a multi-millionaire. I'm like running around the house, and I'm so pumped up. I'm excited. I'm like, this is like easy. I can't believe everybody's not doing this, right? So here's what I did. I somehow again come up with $1,000 because I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna go in big. At the time, that was like $1 million to me. I sell more stuff, come up with $1,000, and I load my Google AdWords account, and I set up my ads, and I literally had joined the direct sales company, so they gave me this like company page to sell these products, and I just put that up. I don't really know anything about Google. I just knew that I had to put up an ad and put up a page, and then money would come flying through my computer. All right, so I put up the ad on Google, and I drove people to that page, and I was so pumped up. And I remember going to bed that night and waking, and I'm like, I'm gonna wake up to millions of dollars in my bank account. I was like so naive and dumb. All I again didn't really know much about Google, just heard those basic concepts and jumped in and tried to do it. So how many of you guys can guess what happened next that will definitely shock you? Did I wake up to millions or did I wake up to nothing? Well, I woke up to absolutely nothing. My results were just terrible. So, I woke up, I went to the computer, so excited. And first thing, I was really excited because I saw I had all these clicks, like 3 or 4 thousand. And by the way, back then you can get clicks to pretty much any keyword for like 1 to like 10 cents. I'm talking any keywords you can. Keywords that would cost you $5 or $10 today, back then were costing you like 1 to 10 cents. It was nuts. So the first thing I saw were all these clicks. I was like pumped. I'm like, okay, now where's the money? And then I saw like maybe like 1 or 2 leads and like 0 sales, right? So I'm getting all these clicks, but no one is buying. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like is there something wrong? And then at that point, I just felt like everything I did was failed. Well, I had failed. I felt like a complete failure. I'm like, so now, I'm not only am I broke, I don't have a car, and I'm $3,000 more in debt because I just sold everything. And I'm just like, this is crazy. I lost $1,000 on the Google ads. It didn't work. I invested $2,000 in this direct sales company I really had no interest in. That I was out of that money. my girlfriend was paying the bills, and I had to tell her that I just lost the $3,000. And like, what is she gonna say now? She's gonna be like, you just got. I'm thinking she's gonna say, you just got scammed on the internet, right? Like most people do, right? Most people go, if that would happen to them, they go, it's a scam. They just took my money. Google took my money. The direct sales company took my money. I want a refund. That's the natural reaction that most people are gonna do. Most people would quit. Ask yourself this question. Comment below if you're watching this, and and be honest with yourself. At this point, if this is you, do you quit? Okay, most people are gonna quit. So what did I do? I ended up calling my mentor and shared my results. And the mentor was the individual who I paid the 2,000 to join the direct sales company on my smartphone, not my smartphone, on my flip phone at the time. There were no smartphones back then. And he goes, well, I asked him. I said, look, dude, like I put up the ad like you told me, and this is my results. Is there any way I can learn how to like run better ads? Because I remember thinking to myself, well, 3,000 people clicked. If I just learn how to do this the right way, like I know that some of those people obviously they clicked for a reason. So as much as I was just disappointed, I saw the good in it. I saw the big picture. And I think a lot of times people don't look at what happened or how far they've come. I see this a lot with my students. Like I'll teach them a bunch of stuff and they don't get the result that they want immediately. But I'm like, dude, you didn't even know 99% of the stuff that you've done that got you even to this point a week ago. And you're mad that you didn't get the instant result, and you probably haven't even invested. I think to myself, you know how much money I invested and failed to learn this stuff, and you want to come in here in 1 week and get it? It's not realistic. Okay, comment below, hit the like button if you agree with that. All right, so he's like, dude, okay, here's the deal. There's this guy, his name's Jonathan Budd. He just came out with this system, this training, and it teaches traffic and lead generation strategies. You should check him out and learn from him. So long story short, I did. I went to his system. I joined. It was only $50 a month, and I came up with the money, and I was excited. And it was like a gold mine. It was every marketing tactic and strategy that you could possibly think of. I remember I would fall asleep at night. I remember my girlfriend at the time, now my wife. You can see there, it's a picture of us actually, my mentor and his wife, and my girlfriend at the time, my wife. Actually, we were married. My wife at the time in this photo. In fact, she was pregnant with my daughter, and Jonathan's wife was pregnant. We both told each other at the same time, so both of our girls were pregnant at the same time. So this is pretty cool. But anyways, and you can see we're definitely feeding the baby healthy food with this announcement. So anyways, we go and we're talking here. But before this, like I started learning from him, and I'm like, man, like I'm just so excited. I'm watching every training, falling asleep, and I can remember my girlfriend at the time coming in, now my wife, saying like, who are you listening to? Who is this Jonathan Budd guy? I'm like sick of his voice. All you do is listen to his training and like all day long. And I would watch it over and over again and go implement over and over. I mean, like hundreds of times. Like I was hungry and I was obsessed with learning this marketing stuff, and it just changed my life. And the biggest thing that he taught me was that online marketing success was really all about math. Okay, it was all about math. So for example, like it's all about the numbers. So if you look at this particular campaign, this is one of our webinars, and at the time this one was doing like 20 grand a week, and you can see it's earning $18 per attendee, and conversion rates are about 3%. And a lot of people would look at it like, well, my cost per lead is, let's say your cost per lead was $12. They go, I'm gonna stop that ad. The cost per lead is high. They're like looking at the wrong thing. He taught me to look at the numbers and math, and I started realizing that marketing was all about math. It wasn't really about what most people are looking at the complete wrong things. They're not focusing in on KPIs. They're looking at the wrong thing. And by the way, this doesn't mean you're gonna earn a single dime. My results are not typical, but this was me understanding it was about math. And he taught me the importance of building my email list and customer list and building a true asset. And he compared your email list and your customer list to like investing in an asset that's building, like sports memorabilia or something that starts off where it's not worth that much, but as you build it, it starts to gain value. And here's how he explained it to me. I've shown this slide for years, and it's really understanding the value of a lead. I'm going to just share it with you real quick. So one lead is a lifetime value of $1 per month. And this to me remains true to this day. I know a lot of people go, well, email is dead. I beg you differ. Email is the first microtransaction that your customer makes. If they give you their email, they're giving you a window into their life. And even if they don't open up the email, okay, it's a microtransaction. I think that's why it's so valuable. So an example here, if you invest $25 to generate 10 leads, the actual cost of each lead would be $2.50, but the value of the lead would be $1. All right. So for example, month one, you invest $25 in ads. That's $500 a month. You get 10 leads a day. That's 200 leads per month. So the average person is going to go say, okay, Vince, I understand that. They're going to go invest $500 or whatever they invest. And let's say, again, your average is $2.50, per lead. You would have had $200 leads, and you would be at a net negative 300 in terms of the asset of your list. right? Now, most people would quit, especially if they didn't make any money from those 200 leads. They'd say that marketing strategy didn't work. I just lost $500, but they don't understand they're building an asset. In month two, you invest the same amount of money, you get 200 more leads. Now the value of your asset is negative 100. Month three, now it's positive 100. 5 years from now, now you're making a lot of money, which means that, if you're averaging a dollar per lead, okay, then you could get up to, let's say you have 10,000 people on your email list. If you're nurturing it and you're getting the right type of lead, that's $10,000 a month. And I understood this concept. I got it. It made sense. And still to this day, this is the metrics that I focus on. And you get a lot of people like, oh, email is dead, this and that. And they don't realize it's the first micro transaction. From an email list, you can upload those emails to social media and run ads to them. Again, like there's so many things that you can do with your list that people undervalue. All right, so when I learned this and when I saw how much I learned from my mentor, I just started investing in online education, everything that I could, and I would do whatever it took. I'd sell stuff, all the money that I was making, and it took me a long time, as I'll talk about here, to make money. I would just put back into learning and going to seminars. I remember my first seminar, I scrambled up money to get to that first seminar, and I remember I was like taking notes, and every speaker I'd run out into the hallway and call my girlfriend out, my wife at the time, and say, man, I just learned this, I'm gonna crush it. I was so inspired and so motivated to like just learn and implement, and I don't know if it's still there today. I think that like today people just want it so fast and not like I don't know, that's just my opinion. But anyways, I started investing in online education, and I failed for 6 months. Okay, I got started, I didn't make a single dime literally for 6 months, and I probably at the end of the day I was at 3,000 testing things. um, you know I had probably got up to like maybe 16,000 in debt selling stuff. There was one point where I found like an old retirement account that I had been building from real estate that was like lost in a stack of mail that I had. And I ended up cashing that money out to reinvest in my business. It was like I was doing everything because I believed in this so much. So finally, after 6 months, I earned my first commissions of $6.73 online. And to me, this felt like $1 million. And this was after 6 months. I want you to ask yourself, would you have continued? Would you put yourself in ten to $16,000 in debt trying to learn internet marketing because you believed in it so much to get excited over $6.73? Okay, that was me. I was so excited. I made this money, and I had sold an affiliate commission to Aweber. So Aweber is like this autoresponder service, and someone bought an Aweber account from me, and I made $6.73. And at that moment, my career as an internet marketer began. It became real, and I don't know what it was. When that first commission came in, it was like they started to just spiral. It started to come in, and it started to come in at a rapid pace. All right, so since then, if you fast forward to today, okay, I'm the founder of SetUpMyAds.com, I'm the author of the book Internet Traffic and Leads, and I'm a proud Two Comma Club earner. I host events all over the world. I speak at events all over the world, and it's all because of my ability to drive targeted traffic and leads, not only for my businesses, but for my clients as well. And here's one of the best moments of my life, okay, and this is actually my mentor, Jonathan Budd, at one of my events. I think this was my third event. I brought him back and I shared this same story I'm sharing with you. And I asked him, and I was like, who was your best student ever? And he said me. And by the way, this is a guy that earned over $27 million on the internet by I think his 27th birthday. Now he's the owner of a company, an energy company, and changing the world. So he said I was his best student ever. And I remember I made that my goal. I made it my goal when I first went into his system. I said, I want to be your best student. I'm going to make you a lot of money. And I made the guy a lot of money, but he made me more money than he could ever, I can't repay him for what I learned from him. And I wanted to be his best student. And so many people now, especially students, they just are like, almost a little bit like leeches in a way where they just want to suck everything from the mentor, and they don't really value the mentor as much as I currently valued mine. And you can see it because I see a lot of people when they do well, they forget about all the people that helped them. I made it a point. He spoke at my first event actually, and I brought him back for my third. And I want to make sure people know who he is and like who I learned information from because it was so important to me, because it changed my life. But this was a proud moment of mine. Imagine you learning even from me, and later you invited me to your event and saying this is where it all started, and then I say that you were my best student. Okay, could you imagine that? And this was like one of the proudest moments of my life, and I definitely want to see that from you guys. So that's my story, guys. Like that's how I got to where I am today, and it was a lot of hard work, a lot of bumps, more failures and successes, but I just stuck to it. I was just extremely consistent. I believed in what I was doing. I was passionate, and more importantly, I think for me that I really truly care about my students and my clients. I want the best for them, and I want to practice what I preach. Everything that I teach, I do. For example, I don't sell courses on how to create courses, and I've never sold courses. I don't, teach people how to start their digital agency, and I've never served clients. You know, this is one of those things where I love what I do and I practice what I preach, and I live for my students. And if you take that same approach, and if you just put your head down and you buckle down and you have vision, you can make anything and everything happen. So do me a favor, guys. If you got value and you were inspired, comment inspired into the comments area. Okay, because again, that's really what it's all about. Our job and I believe in the world is to inspire, motivate people, and push them towards their goal because it's possible. You have one life. Okay, we don't know what happens when we take our last breath after that. I mean, hopefully we go to the next level, and that's great. But at the end of the day, what can we control? What we're doing right now. And I hope that this story inspired you. I hope that you do take the action. And even if you never normally comment or hit the like button before, I encourage you to do that because I want as many entrepreneurs to see this story, to know that it's possible, to know that you can come from nothing and have nothing and still make it happen if you just stick to it. All right. So that being said, guys, I hope you got a ton of value. And for those of you who want to take your business to the next level and you want to learn how to build a business, or you want me to help you with marketing, if you want me to help you with marketing and help your business, okay, you can go to setupmyads.com. If you want more customers, I can definitely help you. And if you're a person that wants to make more money, okay, and you want to build a business, you can go to adsagencynetwork.com. All right, so if you want more customers, go to setupmyads.com. And if you want to make more money, go to adsagencynetwork.com. Hope you got a ton of value from this story. Even sometimes when I go back through it, I forget some of the things that I went through. So it's kind of cool even for me to go back through it because it motivates me. I can't wait to get off this video and get back to work because I have more people to inspire. And I hope that this video inspires you and changes your life. With that being said, as always, I'll see you on the internet. Later.